बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम रब्बि ज़िदनी इल्मा.
Okay, the next thing we'll see the configuration of the static NAT example. Like we have seen the previously the prerequisite and the NAT configuration, and this is ready for us. This is like a prerequisite. Now assume that we want to translate three IPs 192.168, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. So these three, when they go, they should use some public IP, and this is a static NAT, so I decided to use 50.111 public IP and 50.112 and 113. So these are the public IPs what I decided to use. So as per my requirement, if you want to write the static NAT, this is the syntax. So we need to go and say IP NAT inside source static. This is all source NAT generally we do. Source address will be translated. And then what is the private IP address? Which means in our case, the private IP address is 192.168.1.1. And then you have to tell what is the registered IP, 50.111. So that's a simple one line configuration. So we have to say IP NAT inside source static, the private IP and the public IP. Now similar way, if you want to translate the second address 192.168.1.2 translated to 50.112. And similar way, the third example 192.168.1.3 is getting translated to 50.113. Now this private public IP mapping you can decide as per your requirement. So I'm not translating the fourth one. The fourth one will not translate, will not communicate. That's the reason I left the fourth one. Okay. And then the final thing is we need to implement this. Now implementation is important. You need to apply the NAT, which means here we need to specify what is your inside interface and what is your outside interface. Now inside means the interface which connects towards the LAN, and typically from where you receive the traffic with a private IP. Like in my example, I'm saying this is my inside interface. We say IP NAT inside. And the interface which is facing towards the service portal, we call this as a outside interface. Which means what I'm saying is whatever the packets coming from your inside interface, means when the packets are initiated from this receiving interface, I'm saying, okay, if you are receiving any traffic from this interface, and if the source address is any one of these address in this range, so if it is 1.1, then translate this to 50.111 when I'm sending this interface back on outside interface. So which means when the traffic is leaving this interface, S0 by 0 by 0 interface, it will be translated to this address. So from which interface you receive and from which interface you translate, that you have to tell. So the outside interface is nothing but the interface you want to translate. You want to change the source address, or you want to apply NAT when the traffic is leaving this interface. And remember one more thing, if you have other sites, let's say this is my head office and this head office is connecting to other branch offices here. Now, these are outside interfaces? These are not outside interfaces. Basically, this is my outside interface, which goes to the service portal. I don't want to translate the address when they go to my other branch offices. Remember this. So don't think that every WAN interface you have to enable outside. That's not the correct one. So every interface facing towards the service portal where you want to translate the addresses. I don't want to translate when they go to my remote networks or any other WAN connections. Okay. So basically this is what you want to do. The interface, LAN interface from where the traffic receives is inside, and the interface to which you want to translate when they go, we call it as an outside interface. Okay, so verification commands, anyway we'll see these verification commands like show IP NAT translations, the clear IP NAT translations to clear the NAT table, and then show IP NAT statistics. We'll be using these commands for verification. So the same verification commands will be applicable for all the different types of NATs. Okay, so let's get started here. I do have my pre-configurations as per my topology. If you remember, we discussed we do have a default route on the router 1, and we do have a static route configured on the ISP. So currently we don't have reachability because of the translations. We verified that in our previous lab prerequisite topic. So what I'll be doing is I'll go to router and I will do the translations as per my requirement. If you just observe here, I want to translate this 192.168.1.1, 1.2 and 1.3. Okay, so let's go and configure the same here. The same configurations, IPNAT inside source static. And then you can use question mark to find what is the local address. Local means your private IP. And then it will show you what is the global address. Global means your public IP. So I decided to go with 51.1 here. Same way, I want to translate 192.168.1.2 with, let's say, 51.1.2 and 192.168.1.3 with 51.1.3. So I'm just doing only 3 translations, assuming these are the 3 internal servers, and they should be accessible on the internet via the public IPs 51.1.1, 2 and 3. Now the next thing, we also need to configure the inside and outside interfaces. So this is my outside interface. So if you want to verify, we can use show IPNAT statistics, or first let me go with show IPNAT translations. So right now it shows you your inside local IP. Now again, remember the inside means your source address here. So whatever the private IP addresses we use, our addresses is called inside. Inside means ours. Outside means remote users, generally, terminology wise to understand. And inside, again, there is a local address. Local means your private. Global is nothing but your public address. Okay, so whatever your private IP and your public IP will be referred as inside local or inside global. And the remote outside users, again, they have a local and a private. Outside local or outside global. Global means your public IP again. So basically here you see here, inside local means my private IP addresses, my private IP and my public IP. And right now this field is blank because we did not initiate any traffic. So we'll try to initiate some traffic because we did not send any traffic to the internet, right? So let's go ahead and try to initiate some traffic and come back to the verifications. So I'll generate the pings. The ping should work. You can see I'm initiating some ping request. And if I go and verify show IPNAT translations, you can see the translations here. So I have initiated a ping request first 4 I initiated for 201.1.1 and the next 4 I initiated for 201.1.2. So that is my destination. And these 2 addresses normally remains the same in the case of source NAT. Normally we are not translating any destinations, so these 2 addresses remains the same. And it get translated to the public IP. You can see this is the public IP, what it uses, and what is the protocol, ICMP protocol used here. So if you want to initiate some other traffic, like I'll try to initiate some web traffic here from this second host, let's say. I'll try to send a request to the web traffic 201.1.1. You can see, and from the third host, I can initiate some web traffic from here 201.1.2, let's say. So just only type the addresses what we have. And if I go back to my router after initiating a traffic, if I say show IPNAT translations, you can see those ICMP has been removed. Now you'll see 2 translations here, 192.168.1.2 is being translated to this public IP 51.1.2. And when I initiate a traffic from 192.168.1.3, it gets translated to 51.1.3 as per my requirement. And again, to which server it is trying to access, something on 201.1.1 and 2 on port number 80, that is your HTTP traffic. So ping and these options are enough for testing, ping and HTTP traffic. If you want to initiate some other traffic like FTP, Telnet, you can also verify that, but normally these 2 are enough for verifications. So other commands you can use show IPNAT statistics here. So basically this will show you some of the hits, the number of hits, and how many translation has been expired. Means, you know, it will automatically remove these entries after if there is no active traffic is coming. So the 8 ICMP traffics which has been expired, and how many total translations. Generally here it shows you. Okay, and which interface, what is your inside and the outside interface, this additional information it shows you. Anyway, this will be removed after some time, inactive traffic. If you want to remove these translations, we can use clear IPNAT translations. Okay, so basically this is required. Let's say I decided to remove one of the translation, let's say by mistake, or maybe you want to remove one of this translation entry, because in our labs when we are moving on to the next translation, we prefer to remove this. So I'm going to copy paste. Did I copy? Okay, so basically here this, try to remove, so it removes. Okay. So normally it will remove. In case if it unable to remove, then basically what you have to do is you have to clear this NAT table, and that is done with the help of clear IPNAT translations. So mostly this problem you'll face in the dynamic routings. So let's say you want to clear the translation table, simply you can use this clear IPNAT translations to clear all the NAT translations at once. Okay, so before we go ahead with that, you can also remove the other translations as well, just because when we are moving on to the next translations like dynamic NAT in the next topics, we generally prefer to remove these configurations. So you can remove these configurations and you can go ahead and implement the dynamic NAT in our next lab scenarios.